You're watching a KARK special, Coronavirus Concerns, Reopening Schools in Arkansas.
A lot of the state does not have access to rural broadband, with virtual learning becoming very evident as we begin the school year. State Senator Missy Irvin joining us now from Mountain View, and she's got a perspective, I guess you could say, on the rural part of the state and some of the hurdles that kids there may have to face because they don't have access to internet and things like that. Missy, tell us what are some of the challenges that some kids could face in the rural part of the state.
Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate that. You know, there is a huge divide when it comes to high-speed access at their homes. And so that is what the students, particularly in rural places of the state of Arkansas, are experiencing. But I want to make sure you understand you don't have to be an hour or 2 hours away from downtown Little Rock to experience rural connectivity. Broadband is no longer a novelty, it is a necessity. And when you're talking about going back to school on a virtual basis, you know, there is an equitability issue. Not every student has that access of a high-speed broadband at their home, so they're not able to do their homework at home. They're having to go to a McDonald's parking lot sometimes to use that Wi-Fi. And so that's a real problem that we have in the state of Arkansas. So we have worked very hard to try to begin to solve the problem, but we're years from being able to really solve this problem. But Arkansas is 48th in the United States of America in access to high-speed broadband in people's homes. And so we have a lot of work to do to catch up with the rest of the country, but to make sure that all of our students have that same opportunity of being able to do virtual learning at their homes is really critical, and it's very important. And unfortunately, you know, the coronavirus and this whole situation has really ripped a Band-Aid off, I think, and exposed the deep deficiencies that we have when it comes to broadband all throughout the state of Arkansas.
What I thought was really interesting when things got underway in the spring and as students started learning from home was the partnership with PBS and PBS airing lesson plans. The CARES Act Steering Committee supports Arkansas PBS request for $6.4 million to expand its broadcast, to keep it out there and kind of do what they can to bridge this divide. Arkansas PBS worked with the Department of Education to offer alternative instruction to students learning at home. A valuable partnership, one that needs to be strengthened?
Yes, I mean, I supported that, and I think it's important that you have that signal accessibility all throughout the state, but it's very, very different from being able to interact on a digital platform. Being able to interact when it comes with your teachers and making sure that your teachers, while they're also at home or at their school, especially at their home, that they're able to upload their lectures, because we have had some teachers that have reported to me that it's taken 24 hours for them to upload one lecture from their homes. And so this is both teachers and students that need this availability. And if you're able to do it on digital platform, it's more interactive and it's really more beneficial for the student. You can look no further than the Khan Academy, for instance, and how important that has been as a tool for a lot of us parents to really assist our kids and have that extra added learning experience. But you only get that if you have access to broadband at your home and if you have a device, and not every student has a device. And some of the schools have smartly used some of their federal monies in order to purchase Chromebooks so that they have a 1-to-1 ratio. That's really important, but the second component of that is to make sure that those kids can use those Chromebooks at their homes and have the ability to do that, and make sure that families that have multiple students that may just have one device and sharing that device has also been very complicated. So I applaud those schools that are using those federal dollars to get 1-to-1 Chromebooks, but they also are trying to solve the connectivity connectivity issue with their students as well. So I applaud those schools, but we as a state need to partner with them. And I would just encourage people and stakeholders, superintendents, school boards, to join with their cities and their mayors and their county judges and the stakeholders and the internet providers to apply for the Rural ID Broadband Program. We have supported with the CARES money $2 million, and those are due diligence planning and development grants that are catalysts for the hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars available to the state of Arkansas through the federal programs of USDA and FCC. So we need to take advantage of that and work quickly to get those stakeholder groups together to apply for those grants to expand access to all of these homes for these students to be able to have a meaningful
Senator,
education
I've got to
experience.
jump in there. We're getting ready for a real quick break. We've got plenty of time left. We'll try to revisit that in just a minute. But first, coming up, we're going to talk about how we continue our conversation about safely going back to school in the fall. You're watching a special presentation, Coronavirus Concerns, Reopening Schools in Arkansas.